And we are back here once again with another episode of the Cloud9 podcast, season 10, episode 4, as we just had the LEC 2024 winter split begin. And I hope you guys have had an awesome weekend and week so far. And I'm going to give you guys a little bit of an update on the Iron Man podcast, actually. And all the episodes are put into my backup YouTube account. So after I get this episode uploaded to you guys, you're going to see the episodes of the Iron Man podcast uploaded all to you guys. And then after I get all of the episodes of the Iron Man podcast uploaded to you guys, then I can put out the newest episodes of the Cloud9 podcast. Because as I've told you guys before, I want both shows to have the newest episodes come out simultaneously, right when they're done. That way there's no like delay in when the episode could be available for you guys. Because as you guys know, if you listen and watch this show on your commute back and forth from work, at the gym, when you're having sex with your wife, we are more than lucky. And I will want to say thank you to every single person that watches and listens to the show on the podcasting platforms. So the last time we were here, I was like legit raging out at teams like Karmine Corp and Team Vitality, and I don't plan on stopping now. So that's just how it's going to work. And Mr. Chaz Blanks is here. He's not going to end up having sex with my ex at all, because that's a taco, and I protect that taco. And the meat is not going to get penetrated by a black man. That's how it works around here.
Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that?
She ain't throwing it back for an.
I'm gonna tell. This is what's gonna happen. There's gonna be one weekend. You and James go down to the LCS studios, and then that's when I come in. It's gonna be. Yep, I'm gonna come in.
So what's been going on with you, man?
Not much. Just working.
You know what's crazy? Those Yu-Gi-Oh videos you had told me to watch and stuff like that. I was actually gonna just do commentary on them over myself. There's a Cali Effect one he released today. I was like, you know what? I started playing and I was like, you know what? Oh, I could probably talk about this right now. Honestly.
I got that one as well. I got a bunch in my queue. That's like, I just been busy because I've been nonstop training for this weekend. Back-to-back challenges, then a cup, then back-to-back cups next weekend. That's why I haven't been doing that much. I just been training nonstop.
Right. Awesome. And as you guys know, I've been constantly putting out new content on the YouTube channel. So if you are watching on the podcasting platforms, my YouTube channel is just the name I have right here, Master Swag King. And that goes for Twitch and on Rumble, and on Twitter, or X as they call it, is C9MSK8. So if you want to see more of what I'm doing, then go and subscribe and follow on those other platforms as well. Man. It's been a week. The T1 versus GenG game, that was just wild, actually. Yeah. Good mother loving God. So I think there's I get a T1 loss, but there's a lot to look forward to if you're a T1 fan seeing that game. Seeing that series in general.
Dad, GenG's gonna choke in Worlds again.
What do you mean? Motherfucker, Worlds is at the end of the year.
And GenG's gonna choke again. They're gonna choke in MSI too.
What do you mean? They're going to win MSI and win Worlds.
You sure about that?
I mean, I hope.
You sure about that? Jovi's going to find a way to choke.
I mean, God, Lee. It's like when he plays it, but before, when he played against Faker, you didn't even know who that guy was anymore. But literally against anybody else, he just crushes them. But it's just internationally, either he has really bad reads in the meta or he just loses his brain. I don't get it sometimes. But before we go over T1 versus GenG, we'll go over the LEC 2024 Winter Split Week 1. So, oh God, man. Where do we even start, honestly? Where do you want to begin? Because on Sunday...
Gaming is number one.
Warren is doing victory laps right now. That man is like naked in his room in New York, just throwing up confetti. Oh my God. Jeez, man.
You think they're a good team? I don't think they're a good team. I don't know.
I'll have to see.
I think they're all right, but I look at them like nothing from what they did impressed me. I was like, okay. You know what I'm saying?
I think they had the cleanest games based off of what we saw, but people gotta understand there's so many new changes to the game. like, and it's one of those things where if a team can have a good read instantly, even if they're like just came together like they did, because SK only kept the top laner on their bot side. I mean, they did add in Niski, which I think is like really, really good for them. And people were like, "Oh my god, they're 3-0." It's like, well, fuck, that's what happens when you have a good mid laner. Like, what the fuck? People act like you're brand new to everything, Oh, we'll go over standings. We'll talk about SK Gaming. So SK Gaming did end up 3-0, and they had the best games by far compared to mostly every single team outside of like Mad Lions, who had that one really impressive game against Team Heretics. But I do want to see what they're able to do in the other 2 weeks coming up, because if people just don't seem to forget this, like strength of schedule really matters in terms of like maybe judging a team's like actual level where they're at. So they faced Rogue, who was complete trash for the most part, and they faced Mad Lions, right? Mad Lions, were surging a little bit after their first day performance, and SK soundly beat them too. They actually won these games all pretty convincingly. Even against Fnatic, you would say that they won pretty convincingly. So is it more strength of schedule or is it gameplay? That is all going to be decided on week 2, because week 2, they face Team Heretics, and I don't really know how to judge this team either, man. Then you have Giant X. Giant X, I don't think it's that good at all, honestly. I think they're just, I don't know, 5 players playing solo queue, in my opinion. And then you have SK playing against BDS. So if they can go 2-1 or go 3-0 in this week, then I wouldn't say it would be strength of schedule. I would say just they're okay, because they did this last winter too, so I'm not surprised. But obviously, it was also with another different roster too. But Niski is going to be their biggest difference maker. Like if they had someone like any other mid laner but him, I don't think they start this strong. But no, I would say they play pretty good for the most part. But it's hard judging this team when we're not even in like the best of 3 stages yet.
Yeah.
Relevant had some awesome carry games on Renekton and Jax. Exakick and Doss played good in the bot lane. Niski made a lot of strides to play towards Yzma. Yzma also had a pretty good line of 3 games too. Who else we got to talk about? Let's do, Team Vitality is trash, guys. Did you guys see that BDS game? That game, oh my lord. Throw Hillisang in the trash. Please. That motherfucker's booty. They lost to Lebrov in Ice. The motherfucker lost to Lebrov. Oh my god.
And it wasn't even close too.
Did you I put out a recent video, a pre-recorded one, talking about my opinions about week 1 of the LEC 2024 Winter Split week 1. Photon is up there literally winning his lane, and Douglas never even plays towards him. Douglas will see Shio completely inting, literally inting his whole game away. And then somehow they're so incompetent that they can't even capitalize on that. You know what I mean? So I know people have made the arguments, well, the map's changed. And also, okay, map changing and items changing is much more different than pro players knowing exactly what to do, okay? They know that if a Xin Zhao is invading that early and he gets a kill on him as Jarvan, you're essentially out of the game, right? Shio's had these problems at Worlds. Remember at Worlds, he had this problem too, just getting out-jungled, clapped consistently in the jungle. Yep. Are people really about to argue to me on Twitter that these guys are so stupid they can't capitalize on any level of something that they actually can get an advantage over? Some guy completely messes up into you, and you just kind of be like, oh, we'll just not do anything. We'll just stand here and do nothing. That's what they did. Like, Vethio, he went down bot lane to get to get 1 kill. I think it's Orianna, but man, Vethio is so overrated. There is no reason he should be on any more rosters after this. When he started in Misfits, he was overrated. He was the MVP of 2022, and that had major asterisks to it as well. 2023, he was on XL. He stunk. He was on Team Heretics. He was just pretty meh, honestly.
Yeah, he
was like I guess, but nothing really impressive. And as you see these 3 games, he's just not a good player. Like, I look, dude, have you not seen good Xerath? He picked Xerath, right? Yep. And he just did nothing. What is with people picking these champions and sitting in lane and just farming? I don't get it, honestly.
That's a good question.
Just sits there and just farms, and he doesn't play with his jungler. He doesn't really. He'll roam, but it's only if the bot lane champions, the enemy bot lane champions are like super low. He's not going down there to make plays. It's such an overrated dog shit player, man. Then Karzi and Hill is saying that's just, that's a tax write-off right there. Write them completely off. Because Karzi can't do anything, even though I think Karzi's talented, and I think he played very well last year. I think he's not been the worst part about their bot lane. This isn't really his meta. His meta is mostly like Jinx, Zeri, Aphelios, carry champion, like Misfortune. He's not really a good player on Varus, Jhin, Ashe, utility. I don't know why he's struggling on Aphelios.
Those are easy champions, though.
Utility? No, yeah, to a certain extent. They're all about setup. You have to have good setup in your team to make sure they work effectively, but he's not the best on utility champions, and it doesn't also help when Hylissang is like a blind retard running in every fight and killing himself. So,
True. That's true.
Photon, remember he beat the shit out of Adam. 1v1'd him, stuck his cock all up in his ass, and Douglas is like, damn, why don't I go down bot lane and just try and win bot lane? Trash. Team L. People forget vitality is supposed to the word vitality is supposed to vitalize you. Supposed to give you this revival or some bullshit like that. Go to Team Vitality. That's the anything but vitality over there. It's just it's such a badly constructed roster. I imagine it was like Douglas played better than Bo and Scrims last year at the very last minute where they subbed him in at. They were like, oh, he's got some talent. He only looked that way, guys, because Bo was so bad. They were like, you know what? We got nothing better. We'll just throw this guy in.
Either that or the upside of Douglas, because they felt like Douglas would have been a longer investment. Because sometimes you don't have to play better if your attitude towards the game and the way you are around people, because they'll fire someone who's good and put someone who's not as good, but just because he fits with the team better. Thing about that, it's like Douglas might fit with the team better, but might be a worse player. That's the thing too. Mm-hmm. Plus, Bo costs a lot more than Douglas.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, and the thing with Bo, we'll talk about Karmine Corp in a little bit. It's like they set up Bo improperly with the team, because people forget the reason why Bo looked good is because he was with Doinby in the LPL, and Doinby like Niski plays towards their jungler to get things done on the map. They've been pairing him up with mid laners who don't do that.
Yep.
So he's legitimately going to not look as good. And the same thing happens with Vitality. It's like Vethio does not play with his jungler very well at all. He barely really ever roams. He's not he's not a good player. That can't help out Douglas. Douglas is trying to navigate how to carry a game on stage, and we got Vethio over here just jerking his fucking French baguette off, doing literally nothing. Hill is saying, I'd argue that's not really even a person anymore. He's just on crack when he does most things, and Karzi is just surviving playing utility champions. What a shitly constructed roster. Nah, if that team goes to the next stage, this league is terrible. Burn this whole league. Please burn this league. So bad, man, watching these guys play. That BDS game is just straight criminal. Just so bad. My actual life just faded into liquid when I was watching that earlier. I was talking about Karmine Corp. What do you think about Karmine Corp, man? Oh, sorry, before that. Did you want to say anything about Team Vitality before we move on?
We said everything, really. I knew they were going to be bad, but damn.
Yeah, this is actually worse than last year. Keep in mind, this is worse than last year. Week 1, it started off 3-0. So I guess they're like, let's get rid of all these guys and we'll do better.
And a lot of tickets said that's a lie.
It's just Team Vitality's. That's why I'm like this thing. Team Vitality. They can spend a lot of money and do bad. They can spend very little money, do bad. They could have star players, put them with prospects, do bad. They could have prospects with added star players, do bad. Every League of Legends scenario possible competitively, they do bad in. Every one of them. Think of anyone, they're bad in. Bring in imports. The imports are trash. They suck on stage. Bring in a bunch of veterans. They're going to have some success in the past. Other teams they've had on. Bring them over to Team Vitality. They suck. What is it? This place is cursed. Fuck this goddamn org. Bring me the rope. What's up, Vagabond? Yeah, bring me the rope. I need the rope watching this org. Literally the Bizarro situation from them and G2. G2 did everything with titles, MSIs, World Finals appearances, Team Vitality. Legit nothing.
That's how it be, man.
And this is going on what? 2016 to 2024. Was it 8 years? Yeah, 8 years in the league. Nothing to show for it. Guys, they've barely ever made like third place matches. Barely ever made third place matches. And have lost 2 of them too. They've only ever the highest placing ever has like been 3rd and 4th when you total up the whole entire year. That was just like in 2018. Last year, I think in one of the splits they finished what, like 3rd? It was in spring, you know? But holy crap. What's up, Michael? How you doing, man? All right, Karmine Corp, another shitly constructed roster. Targamas is terrible. Targamas is bad. Karmine Corp was like, he's the only guy we're looking at in the offseason and blah, 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 blah.
No, they said he was the best fit for what they was trying to accomplish. I'm like, I remember that
10th.
I was like, what are you trying to accomplish then? I was like,
finishing 10th. Oh man. So I know people are talking about the whole Karmine Corp and Mad Lions rivalry because of all French in Spain. We'll get to that later. But just the Cabochard is trash. Come on, like that is so. On Gragas, he built Archangel's staff first. I swear to God, if you do that in one of my games, I might report you to Riot headquarters. Holy crap, that is bad. He's been turbo sprinting it. On Jax, he stunk. On Malphite, he stunk. And on Gragas, he stunk. So if he plays carries, what do? Do you just throw him on tanks? Oh, wait, he can't play those either. Yep. He's just, I don't know what happened to this guy. He's just trash. Bo is trying to make stuff happen, but no one really ever follows up on his engages. He doesn't really have any synergy with the team, actually. Don't know really why Yamato is like, I'll just take Bo from what didn't work on Team Vitality and I'll just try to do it myself. Well, you would need to do that with a mid laner that plays through his jungler, and Sakin's not that guy. Once again, badly constructed roster. Sakin, he might have stage nerves. He's been in the league before. I didn't like him when he was in the league before. Those Vitality were really, really bad. Well, it's like every year for them. It's like usually tradition for Team Vitality to be bad, you know? Yeah. Did you not see what he did earlier this week, guys? He had positions in the game to actually do more than what he was able to do. Like with Zethio, he just does nothing because they're just scared, you know? So that's my problem with Sakin is he was in positions to do a whole lot more than he could have, but just didn't really matter, honestly, for the most part. What's up, Tony? How you doing, man? I've never been better. Oh, no. That's awesome. It's awesome, man. I like it. So that, you also have Upset and Targamas. There's really not much you can do as Upset when your support is Targamas. That's basically just admitting you're going to play the lane 1v2, essentially.
Would you say Upset is Upset?
Might actually throw himself off a cliff.
Oh, shit.
Like, Targamas might be the worst laning support I've ever seen. Not just gameplay outside of lane. In lane, he's terrible. In lane, he's just bad. I knew Upset would not work with Targamas. There's no way these two work together. I don't know what's going to happen with these two. I think there's a potential they make it past one of these guys, but they might be able to steal some games. If you're looking at their strength of schedule for Karmine Corp, they're against Gigantic X. Maybe winnable, maybe, I guess.
That's a coin toss. Vitality, that should be a win, hopefully.
Dude, that's a good chance. Both these guys will be 0-4. If Vitality loses this, there's a good chance they're both facing each other at 0-4.
Yep.
If you're both 0, that's the thing though. Here's a scenario. If they're both 0-4 when they face each other here, and one of them beats each other, count that other one out, essentially. And then Karmine Corp is going up against Team Heretics. So they don't have like the harder strength of schedule. It's kind of doable. Vitality have a G2 game. That could not bode very well for them. So, I mean, I just think this is just not a good roster constructed wise. I mean, unless Bo chooses to basically do anything, they don't kind of do much at all. Cabochard is just walking around with his head cut off. Fucking hell, man. Anything else you want to say about Karmine Corp, man?
Not really, man. I know they're bad, but damn.
I knew it would be bad, but like, god damn, my expectations were low, but holy fuck. Rogue ended up beating G2. They had a great game against G2. Comp actually had a good game. Zoli's played Rakan. No, that's literally it. That's actually it. If they ban out Rakan from him, I want to see what he looks like outside of Rakan, because it's really easy for people to look good on Cassante, Rakan, massive like carry champions with a lot of playmaking potential. I want to see what he looks like outside of Rakan. But if he's going to be a good player with other champions beside Rakan, that's a good bonus for them. But I'm not that high on Rogue either, honestly. I mean, if you look at those first 2 games they played, those were criminal, man. Like Larson, he didn't
even in game 3, they almost lost to G2. There was times where G2 was poking holes in it, but it was like G2 just did not like show up.
Yeah,
like they just looked disinterested.
It looked like they went on stage and just basically went like, I don't think this team is good at all. We'll just kind of fuck around, find out maybe. Because if we're looking at just because Larson's supposed to be like their best player, man, hopefully he picks it up, because this week was not convincing. I don't really know what Jigenda's really still doing on this roster. I don't fucking know. He's Jigenda. That's it. Doesn't really like carry anything. Doesn't really like impress anything. He's just there. Marcoon, what I was hoping wouldn't happen, is like he's just here on the roster with no synergy at all. I know people said like some of these rosters are constructed better than the ones in 2023 for the LEC, but looking at some of these rosters, this configurations always are like really bad for a lot of these teams. Unless I'm just overreacting, it doesn't look like a lot of these rosters were put together with like, hey, this guy's going to stylistically match with this guy. This guy's going to stylistically match with this guy. Doesn't really seem like that, All right, so let's go to Giant X. I don't really know about this one either, guys. I mean, Giant X are a roster where you have Ignar, who will play like Blitzcrank and Rakan, and that's kind of what mostly happens. I mean, Jackie's, like what I've said with Zoli's, they'll look good on champions like, Nico, Rakan, things like that. But when they're on different champions, I want to see how they perform on those different champions, because when they took Jackie's and they put him on Azir, he didn't look as convincing. But he was focused hard in the mid lane in that other game too. So keep that in mind. But I don't think Giant X is going to be doing any damage in the standings in general. I think they're just going to be a middle of the pack team for the most part. I don't think Chaz is... Oh, did you want to say anything about Giant X, honestly?
They need to change the name back to Trash, first of all. Second thing,
just change it to Trash.
Nice. They're a middle of the road team. Like, Jackie looks good. Patrick is a disappointment so far. Like, wait a second. Y'all got rid of Limit, but kept Patrick. Okay. Jackie looks like an improvement over Aberdage from like a team standpoint. But Patrick's the wild card for me. I don't know.
It looks like their bot lane is just so content with just fucking off in the early game. Like, they're not really trying to win. They're not really trying to lose. They're just...
I'm looking at more of that through Patrick than Ignar. I think Ignar's trying to do something, and Patrick's just there. Like, Patrick, like, it feels like they're going 4v5 sometimes. You're like, what the fuck's going on? And it's like, okay. Is Patrick going to do something, or is he just going to sit in the back? Just sit in the back and wait until they say shoot. You know what I'm saying?
Because it really does look like when they make aggressive plays, it's off the back of like Ignar getting like a hook or something with like maybe Blitzcrank, or they have an engage on Rakan somewhere, because it just doesn't look like they do anything. It's not that like they're terrible. It's just like they want to be this like 5v5 team without the early game aggression part of it, which is like, what? Why are we doing this kind of thing? Team Heretics, after they had probably quite literally the worst game of day one, they managed to go 2-1.
Yep.
But I'm not really really convinced of this team either, if I'm being honest here. Like, Kaiser, I will say, massively stepped up his gameplay outside of Nami. He should not be playing Nami ever again. That is just ban it yourself so he doesn't pick it, please. God damn, that was terrible. But he picked Bard, and he looked like... So there's a good player still in here somewhere. But like I said before, take this guy off Bard. Let's see what else he can do. Oh wait, we know what he does outside of Bard.
Trash.
That's the thing though, is the other two are new, so we don't know about them. But if you take this guy off Bard, I'm scared to get this guy like any other champion. But he does look good on Bard. The problem here is like you just ban that out from him. I want to see. Will teams do that? Will teams ever learn, hey, if this guy's good on X champion, I should probably ban that out from him? Will they ever learn? Probably not. But that's what you should do, honestly. Perks even on champions like Akali and Rise are just like, he's the most passive Rise or Akali player I think I've seen so far, you know? Like, I don't think he makes any impact in the game playing these champions. So I don't really know what champion you could give him to make an impact on, if I'm just being honest here. Yankos and Flacket are the best parts about the team. They're the only players that make things happen. They're the only players that get any things done in team fights. Wonder is just content with just being a promo weak side, somewhat top laner, I guess. What do you think, man?
Team Heretics. The old man is going for one last ride.
Mm-hmm.
I think the team could do well, but it's their bot lane. It's gonna come down to their bot lane. Perks, I've been saying he looked like he's washed. He looked like he's done.
Like, did you not see the Akali game where they won playing up against Jackie?
Yeah.
Just didn't like.
Okay, it wasn't because of him. Like none of these games were won where you felt like
Perks is like going ham, you know,
or was impactful at all. In my opinion.
Yeah, the Rise game was.
That was probably the best game out of the three.
Because he was doing stuff on Akali, but it was like, you gotta be finishing these kills off. It looked like he was just going like, I'll do enough damage, back off, and then not commit. Guys, Akali is the definition of I gotta commit to my plays. You know, it's the champion where like, if you don't commit to your plays, you're just trash for the most part. So, Team BDS, what are we thinking about them, man?
I don't know how they're 2-1, but they're 2-1.
Yeah, they lost to G2. And they ended up winning their other two matches. I mean, they had a game against Vitality, and that's just fucking free for anyone at this point.
Yeah, that was free.
They really shouldn't have even won that because I'm not saying Dagless, but if that team had any level of brain, by how badly Shia was inting, whoo, God, man, you'd be the one, and you'd be yourself 1-2. I'm just really not getting this like ice guy so far. Like, why is he here? I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to be in the league, but I don't really know why he's here. The only thing I've heard is that the coaches just don't think Crownie would be good at the meta that we're in right now, which is utility ADC meta, I guess, with mixture of Aphelios in there. But, like, is that really a reason to grab a whole another guy because they feel like he can play a set of champions better? It's happened before. You know, I'm not something that's really new. It's just like, I just don't think you just make that change. I think you should have just kept the same 5-man lineup, honestly. Nook is existing. I guess this is just going to be an all-right team, I guess. Like, Adam can make things happen, but it's mostly off the back of, like... Okay, so the Renekton game he had against Broken Blade, he somewhat kind of won lane, but which is so incompetent on knowing when to do anything outside of lane that it's kind of fell apart, you know?
Yep.
He lost really bad against Photon. He TP'd down to the bot lane against, the Vitality game, made things happen. But yeah, I guess they're just gonna rely on Adam doing crazy shit to look like they're moving in the game. But what do you think, man?
Okay, BDS. I don't even know what to think about that. I
don't know. I just fuck.
I look at them, I'm like, okay, how's this team winning? But I'm like, this team's not shit. They're like, what the fuck? And it's like, I look at them like, the team's not a bad team. That's the thing about it. That's like so peculiar about them. But you're like, okay, Ice needs more time because I'm looking at him like he's not bad. You're like,
Yeah.
he's not
That's the
bad.
biggest problem is I don't feel like Ice is bad, but it feels like he needs a lot more time to acclimate to the team, at least on stage 2.
Yep.
But I think they'll just be a middle of the pack team. I think this will just be like a gatekeeper team to like the rest of these guys, essentially.
Okay.
More or less. We'll have to see them face. Didn't BDS face up against Heretics? No, they haven't faced Heretics yet. They have to face Fnatic first. Then they have to face Mad Lions, and then they face off against SK. So kind of want to see their games this week. I mean, if they manage to drop every game this week and go 0-3, they have a strength of schedule that's decently hard if you're just looking at it. We're probably looking at a team that might fall in the standings to like, what, 2 and 5? They would be actually, you know?
Yeah.
Could be. All right, let's go to Mad Lions. What do you think about Mad Lions, man?
They're better than I thought they were.
Actually, yeah, I will say they've had some big games. I will say,
yeah.
I think their biggest problem right now is going to be Fresco-y. I think he's been the person that's like not been as good as his counterparts. I would say people have been disrespecting the hell out of that guy in mid lane. We're not seeing the game they had against SK. Niski got killed randomly by something that Fresco-y did, and he was like, "All right, cool, let's go back and just kill you again." The fuck? It's crazy how much different Mad Lions can look right now without crackheads like Hylissang on their roster. You know, El Yoyo had a really awesome game against Team Heretics. I think the SK gaming, them losing to SK is not bad since SK are undefeated. But you looked at the way Merwin played Akali outside of lane because he was getting focused really hard in the Karmine Corp game. Supa ended up with a pentakill on Aphelios. No, I don't know how I feel about them. I thought it was so cringe that the whole Mad Lions fan base was like, oh, we're not 10th. We won a best of 1 in winter of week 1. I was like, bruh, what is wrong with you crackheads? This is a 1 game, you know, only to end up losing the next game and just getting absolutely clapped. But they beat Karmine Corp, so I guess that's the thing now, you know. All right, let's. Did you want to say anything else about Mad Lions?
I mean, they're achieving better than I thought they was going to do. I'm like, okay, that's good for them. But I'm like, where the fuck did this come from? That's the question I'm trying to ask. Where did this come from?
All right, let's go to G2. How are you feeling about G2?
I'm feeling all right. Besides the one loss they had.
Yeah,
they just look disinterested in that series. You could tell it was like they was coming back towards the middle, but it was like might have been a little bit too late.
The part I think, you know what ruined them? The part where I think it was Yike, he blast coned over his trundle to like 4 people. Like, what are you doing? Like you could tell they were just massively disinterested in that game. Like they were making like the good plays, but they weren't connecting, and I think they just like mentally lost themselves in that game somewhere. Because it wasn't like they got completely destroyed. It was just they just kept making bad decisions. They kept making good decisions that didn't pan out. It was
a lot closer than what the kill score was showing.
Yeah, they made good decisions, but that just didn't pan out at all. Actually, I think the only person to really blame for G2 and that loss is just Caps. He played really bad in that game, actually.
Yeah, he just hasn't been playing well in overall.
That's what I want to ask is like, where do people think you should level Caps at? I think, like I said before in my recent video, I think he's just going to be all right to good, but he's not going to be that like pop off 1v9 mid laner like he used to be. He hasn't been that for like since 2022. I'll say 2022 spring is what I'll say.
I went back and looked at his game. I don't think he's been good since 2020. Like there has been a split where I was like, okay, he looks impressive. I'm like,
Yeah, so that's why I don't know where people are at on this guy, because everyone was like, what do you replace him with? The other top 4 mid laners in the league? Like, what? I mean, that's unless they ever want to get rid of him. I think he's just going to stay here for the rest of his career, but I don't know. I don't know where people are at with Caps right now. He looks just doesn't look like he's doing. How would I say this? It's like he's not doing what we think he should be doing based off what he used to do in the past. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Like, I'm thinking like this guy can go 1v9, just smash the mid lane, and just take over a game. We've not really seen that in quite some time from this guy.
From what I saw, he done. I haven't seen him be able to do that from what I've seen since like 20.
Last time he did it for me was 2022 spring in the lower bracket. That was when he was like on RE and champions like LeBlanc and stuff like that. But like just even that sprint right there, that mini window right there where they won every series to win the playoffs, right? Yeah. I've not seen that because dude, there's been some regular seasons. He's been basically just meh, honestly. It's like if you guys take off the nameplates of him and you just didn't know that was Caps. Would he be given the same level of leeway like other people were? Definitely not.
Nah.
You know, just take up the nameplates. Just you don't know it's Caps. All right, and just say in that position that was fucking, I don't know, Nuck or Fresco-y or Larson, you know? Would he really be getting it? Because it feels like he's just rather meh nowadays, you know?
Yeah.
It's not like he's griefing games, but he's never the reason why you're winning games for the most part. I think Yike looked fine coming back. I think
Captain Yikes' connection still ain't there.
It's not. It's just not at all. It's just so bad. It's just that's what's really going to be the hindrance of G2 later on this year is if the Caps and Yike synergy does not ever pan out to what people might want it to be or what I think it should be. It's hard to tell how the rest of their winter or spring might go because you know people like trying to rag on Humanoid and Razor synergy. Well, Yikes and Caps has never been there ever from the first games. Broken Blade had a rather so-so start. I mean, I think G2 as a whole out macroed their first two opponents, despite what the kill score might say. You know, the kills look really close, but just macro wise, we know these players aren't dumb. We know they know exactly how to play the map. It's just it's hard for them to play the map when they mess up so hard early game. They don't really know how to, okay, let's make this situation happen, even though I know we're behind kind of thing. So anything else you want to say about G2? What did you think about Hansama and Mickey X, actually?
They looked all right. The first two games, they looked much better.
Third game was like, whoo, this is what the fuck? What is going on?
Yep. I was like, yep. I watched. I was like, yep, they lost.
Yep. Now, if you're getting beaten by Zoli's and Comp, there's going to be a problem here. All right. What else are we going over? Let's do Fnatic. What do you feel about Fnatic?
They're good. They're going to be like top three.
Yeah, I feel like G2 and Fnatic will be top three. I think if you're looking at Oscarinen, I think he played the best out of the players week one. The Renekton game, people said there was a 0-4, but he was getting a lot done on the Renekton pick as well. You know, so I want to make sure I point that out there. You know, score lines on exactly everything. You know, I thought he made a lot of the best practice plays for the team. He did create a lot of leads for them too. In the Cassante game, there was the game that they had against who was the second opponent? Fucking hell. The Vitality game, first champion he played, but he made a lot happen there too. Arguably, even though he lost on Renekton and did pretty bad in terms of like the laning phase, he did make a lot of things happen for them. How are you feeling about Jun? I feel like he's okay so far. I just don't know about their bot lane because it feels like Noah is just a one trick. He's just so content right now.
No, he is the one trick that.
It's only just Aphelios and Ezreal. If you give him I'm still wondering why teams still give this guy fucking Aphelios. Why do we keep giving people their best champions? I don't get it.
Because now Aphelios is a lot easier to counter because it's the way these champions, these people built the champions now. It's like Aphelios is a lot easier to counter than he was, you know, back last season. But that's the thing too. If you take him off those two,
yeah, he's just rather meh, honestly. If you take Noah off Aphelios and Ezreal's not meta right now, I want to see what other champions Noah can pull out and actually look like he's carrying the game on. You know what happened to that Noah that came into the freaking summer split last year where he's just popping off, coming in, you know, doing some crazy plays on Aphelios, and well, to be fair, it was on Aphelios also, So
that too, but also no one had tape on him. It's much easier. It's much easier to be great when no one knows how the fuck you play. That's the.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, I agree. It's much easier to look impressive to people that have never even seen who the fuck you ever are.
Exactly.
I think Razork still looks like one of the best junglers. Humanoid, despite that Akali int looked pretty good for the most part. Yeah, they'll probably be around where G2 is going to be at, competing for second or first, depending on how we think SK Gaming are going to stack up later on during the split. All right, let's talk about some actual good League of Legends. The LCK. Did you see any of the series besides GenG and T1?
I saw the DK series today.
I saw the DRX Nongshim one.
I saw all of them. I saw the KT one as well. I didn't even have to watch game 2. I knew how. I was like, oh yeah, no, KT and DK fisted him.
This is what I was talking about. When I did my tier list for the LCK, these bottom teams like Nongshim, they ended up winning against DRX, but these are like bottom tier feeders. These guys are just gonna galvanize each other. Like DRX is not convincing me that they're trying to compete with Rascal. Really? That's just not like, come on, what are we doing here? I have to go and watch. Yeah, that's the last thing I need to watch is the KT one against Fear X, but I imagine I'm not missing much there.
No, you're not missing much.
I'm pretty sure I heard game 2, KT just beat the living shit out of them.
Beat the living daylight. It's like what's that mean? Oh, what's it? What's that Simpsons mean? Stop, they're already dead.
Oh yeah. The Breon one for DK. I ended up seeing. DK won that. I think.
Yeah.
Pretty sure. Yeah. No, I saw that last night. I made sure I did. Yeah, DK. I think game 2 was a little bit more, closer. But I remember game 1 being like, okay. I'm still not convinced Showmaker's back. He was. I'll have to see. Because we just started the year, so got to take time getting back acclimated to the stage. And if it's like some of the best players in the league, I'm a little bit more lenient on them to a certain extent because I know the end result's going to look really good. Yeah. All right. T1 versus GenG. This was our Cloud9 podcast match of the week, along with Fnatic versus SK Gaming. This series was good, interesting, weird. Coin flip, banger. I don't know what the hell. Like game 1 was really close. Game 1, it was just back and forth, and it came down to basically Owner did this like Jarvan Cataclysm, and then Faker came through flanking on Nico.
Yeah.
And then he did the Nico ult, and then that's what pretty much they won the team fight through that, actually. There's a difference when Chovy plays Corki versus a difference when he plays like I don't know, anything else. He didn't play bad on Corki either, but it's like, Chovy really shouldn't be playing Corki, though. Just saying. Like, I get Corki might be a good champion in the meta. I get it, but I'd rather not ever have Chovy on Corki. I'm just being completely honest here. He can pick anything else but that, because his impact's going to be way less than... I mean, it just depends on, are you going to go late game against T1, or are you going to go early game? Because, like, if you're going to go early game toe-to-toe with T1, then I don't think you need Corki at all, honestly. But that Owner Jarvan Cataclysm, where he kept them there stuck so they could do like the Lucian calling into the Nico ult. Oh my god, that was so beautiful. I felt like the problem with T1 was Faker would try to make things happen, but it felt like they were so like it felt like Owner and Carrier weren't trying to help him out. I was like, wait, come on, if Nico's stunning someone, go in. Like, what are y'all doing? That's my like only real issue that they did. It's like Faker kept trying to make a lot of things happen, and then they're just there like ramen. Oh, Carrier flash into the wall. You're in a game 2, and then they did a dive. Carrier's like just flash into the wall and Senna. Carrier that was not his series. I would say he definitely had a much better series than that. Game 2, they chose to give Chovy Tristana. This game was also rather how do I say this? it looked a lot closer than what the scoreline showed. That's why I said the series was relatively pretty back and forth. Zeus still looks really good. That man is just what has gotten into that man? Like, what did you think about the whole, like, did you like when they pulled out Udyr? T1's the only team, or GenG also too, they've been the only teams to pull out Udyr top. And it's looked disgusting.
Oh no, Udyr is broken now. Because due to there's no Mystic, he's able to just be
tank up and not die.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And then all you gotta do is put one AD item on him.
Yeah,
this motherfucker never dies. He can.
That's why, you know what's confusing, man, is if we're gonna see Udyr top against like T1 or GenG, you gotta insta ban that from him.
Now you know.
Yeah.
Now you know to insta ban that. It's like, okay.
Yeah, definitely take that away from him. I like Zeus in game 3 on his Kennen build, he built AD Kennen. I was like, I don't know about that. I haven't seen AD Kennen in a very long time, and there's a reason why people don't build it. Because you basically, it's like you trade off damage, more pop-off damage for like split pushing. That's essentially why. You can take AP, but be weaker at split pushing. But your ult is a lot more effective. So just depends on which situation they're in, but I'm just not a fan of the AD Kennen. Also, the reason why GenG messed up in their series, okay, so like these guys, isn't really mad about the map changes. These guys are much smarter than I know they are. These are way smarter, right? There should be no real rhyme and reason that they should be losing objectives like that. Like, remember when Owner stole the Baron in game 3? Remember that?
Yeah.
Owner like stole the Baron. I was like, come on, guys. Like, you know how to take objectives. Like, there's no way Carrier and Owner should be getting these objectives from you. You know? So I would say, like, there were some definite sloppy moments out of GenG, but if we're looking at how the roster performed, based off, like, how people thought they would, in general, most people had them, like, second anyway. This looks pretty good. I think gonna have to see what they're capable of doing a lot more, because that game 3 looked pretty dicey when they were just, you know, they lost Baron. Remember the game where Faker we had Lichbane on Azir, he kept split pushing, then they're not even taking care of him. Like, you guys might want to take care of that guy. You might want to, you know, the Azir will take down your turrets very, very quickly. But what did you think about the whole GenG T1 series, actually?
I liked it. I think with me, my main thing was I saw it and I was like, okay, this I saw game 3. I knew instantly, like 10 minutes ago, okay, this is gonna be rough for T1. This is gonna be a rough game.
I will give it to them there. They did manage to survive a lot longer than most teams would have.
Yeah, because GenG from what I saw, they didn't know how to close them out. They're like, okay, every time
they kept griefing over in objectives. Like, there's just no way Owner should be able to steal the Baron at that point in the game. There's no way.
But that was the thing too. They saw one position and didn't realize the other position was what T1 was going for. They saw that they was going to come from one end, and Owner was nowhere to be seen. And he still
don't get why Owner. I don't know why Owner picked Bel'Veth. What is this obsession with Bel'Veth? Is there
Bel'Veth Bel'Veth was good. The issue was Zeus picking Kennen, because you need a
AD Kennen for the most part. Picking Kennen's fine. I think the build's bad.
No, not to what GenG did. I wanted to pick Kennen. I would have stayed away from Kennen.
Especially not if you're giving over Udyr. Like, if you're going to pick Kennen, you need to ban Udyr then. Because, like, you're not bursting down Udyr with Kennen. Like, that doesn't even make sense. Also, Carrier, I think he's really, really good, but this was definitely not his series. The Bard invades he was doing, he kept getting constantly caught out. But remember, it is week 1. But these guys are way better than we know they are. These are some very, very talented players here. So it's just, you know, I won't say limit testing, but Carrie is the one that got people playing Bard. You know? I was like, bro, what are you doing? Yeah, because he managed to steal Elder Dragon too. Those were my only big issues with GenG. Also, I feel like Keen was going a lot more ham than he needed to, actually. There was moments where, like, if you just chunk the guy down, dude, just back off, recall, come back, and then you just kill him. He has no summoners. But there was that first game where he had him, and you could just backed off, right?
Yep.
You don't need to, like, that's what keeps happening with people. They'll keep going with something instead of just being like, hey, I got the most out of this guy. I got his summoners and his ult. We could just go back and reset the play. and to just do it again.
Exactly.
So that's my thing. But it was a lot of I would say over-eager plays on GenG. It was a lot of, the objective taking was questionable and some of the points in the best of 5. But for the most part, given what people thought was going to happen with the roster, with just only keeping Pays and Chovy, Keen also, it's crazy. Oh, God. Oh, Lord. Keen also lost to GenG. Oh, not GenG. Keen also lost to GenG and T1 quite a bit last year. But yeah, thought that was a great series for the most part. Really fun, I would say. But definitely do not build AD Cannon. Please don't do that ever again. Just Zeus, just build AP Cannon. Don't thank me later. You will blow people up. All right. Anything else you wanted to go over, Ashley?
I'm trying to see what else.
That KT series was terrible. They beat the living bat out of them.
No, that was no. See, that was target practice. That was target practice.
Mm-hmm.
That was target practice for them.
Because I remember we were calculating one of the teams doing really, really bad. What is the strength of schedule for some of these teams? Because Guangdong we know are pretty much screwed for the most part.
Oh no, most definitely.
Schedule LCK. Because tonight Homolife plays first against DRX. Then it's T1 versus Guangdong Freaks. We know T1's not. If T1 are surviving that long against GenG, there's absolutely no way on this god on earth Guangdong Freaks is beating them. Not even God, unless Carrier plays as bad as he did last night, then that maybe. But I would still doubt it at that point.
Unless T1 just doesn't care.
Lord. Homolife versus DRX, I think, Homolife will definitely take that. Because DRX are bad. Let's just say that. Because there's another series that says 10 p.m. approximately. It's supposed to be 3 series tonight. It's supposed to be, was it January 19th? So that'd be 12 tonight. It says Fear X versus, basically, just watch T1 and then just go to sleep.
Yep.
Well, that's the thing, though. What is this LCK scheduling? Do they really think I'm trying to watch Nongshim versus DRX as my first game? You know what I mean?
Maybe.
On Saturday, you have GenG versus Nongshim. Yeah, that's what people are paying top dollar for to go see a match at LOL Park. It's GenG versus Nongshim. They're both 1-0. Yeah, that's Nongshim faced DRX, GenG faced T1. That 1-0 is a little, gotta apply some context to that,
Yep.
But that's pretty much it for the most part. We'll just talk a little bit more here about some other stuff and, head out in a little bit. Got to do one more one-on-one tonight with Nerd Wars. And then I'll just get my LCS 2024 spring split team tier list done. Oh, if I have time to. I should be able to have time to because I kind of want to just sit down and play League, actually. Who knows? I might just clip out the tier list we did of our other show and just upload that then.
That's what I was saying to do. I mean, unless you wanted to do one where I think you should do both, where you do one with that and then you do them by yourself. I mean,
that was the idea. Yeah, that's what I was gonna do. Yeah, it was. But I might just clip that out and just pull it out because I'll be honest here, we probably thought the same on the LCS thing anyway. To be honest here, the LCS teams are bruh, what is this? So, yeah, I'll probably just save myself a night, clip that out, and just re-upload that. What else is here? What else do you want to go over? Oh, the whole Yu-Gi-Oh thing too. So we'll probably just go over this. I know on Sunday more, but man, I feel like this is such a routine thing, man. I don't know if I'll do a solo dedicated video to this, but it feels like these kind of conversations happen so much in Yu-Gi-Oh and several different same things. It's ridiculous, dude.
Now it's happening much more often. It's
it's the same conversation.
Tony, what's up, Ragamuffin? What's up, Michael? Yeah, and that's the crazy thing about it. It's
you have people you have people who don't even know the fuck they're talking about, telling people about metas and shit like that. Are we about to seriously ignore the fact that we've had formats where there have been budget Yu-Gi-Oh? People act like we've only ever had expensive decks. That's not true. Yeah,
and then I saw the video from Cali Effect that gave me a new perception on everything. I'm like, and it actually like invalidated why I'm like fuck Yu-Gi-Oh. Because it's not Yu-Gi-Oh that's the problem. It's Konami that's the problem. And I realized no, it's Konami that's the fucking problem. We're getting fucked because Japan market is so damn cheap that they have to make money somewhere, and we're the motherfuckers that's got to, like, and not Americans, I'm talking about Western folks. Anybody that's not an OCG, they get it good. Everybody in OCG gets reprint after reprint. You get cards so goddamn cheap. But with us, we get fucked. They look at the better. Of course, that's why I was like, fuck, you got Yu-Gi tubers out here hyping up cards. And next thing I was like, all right, let's make this card $115. Like, or not $115, but let's make this card short print and a secret rare. Now that drives up the secondary market. And Konami doesn't directly affect the market in a sense. That's the sellers that, realize they buy a case of cards and they only apparently guess what people are starting to say? You got an easier chance of pulling Bonfire than Triple Tastic Thrust out of Maze Millennia. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. This is what somebody said. If you got an easier chance of going to Photon Hypernova and pulling 3 secrets than 3 ultras. And because out of my 3 Triple Tastic Thrust I pulled, or I pulled 2 of them out of the box. They were easy. Back-to-back boxes, pull 2. Like they said, the pull rates are Thrust. Photon Hypernova, all the short printed cards were the Cashier card. Thrust was the card that was, I think it was every. If there's 12 boxes in the case, you were getting at least a play set if you bought a case. That's what you got. Thrust. I was like, if Thrust are at the. Thrust used to be $100. Thrust are at back at the secret rares. Are at the price point when I bought it or when I bought the one. Yeah. And that's the sad part. And that's the sad part about it, because you got players that are like, Yu-Gi-Oh never been affordable. No, it's been affordable.
Maybe we'll just do the video, because I feel like if no one else does, and no one else will understand these points, it's just it's like the indie comic scene, dude. Everyone is like, it's like, okay, because I know you're not involved with that too much. Like Dragon Ball Z, right?
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z, people will legitimately repeat narratives constantly, 24/7, year-round. They'll be like, Sub versus Dub, was Gohan stronger than Goku in the Buu Saga? Should Gohan have been the main character? Constantly, year-round. It's like, bro, have we not talked about this shit to death? Is there nothing new? But with Dragon Ball Z, obviously, there's ongoing new manga chapters, theories, stuff like that.
Same thing with Naruto back in the day. And,
but the reason why it's different with Yu-Gi-Oh! Is because people are repeating shit disingenuously without bringing up any context. None. At least in the Dragon Ball Z stuff, you can bring up like certain context here and there, things to kind of like be like, oh, okay, I can kind of understand where you're coming from. But this is repeated stuff in Yu-Gi-Oh! By people who weren't even, first of all, weren't even around that time period, didn't play Yu-Gi-Oh! And didn't even know what was going on. It blows my mind, dude.
I'm about to say when people say, "Oh, this might be one of the most expensive metals of all time,"
you're just like,
you wasn't there for Teledad. I
Teledad, dude. Dragon Ruler format was around $1,000, $1,200, $1,500.
No, Teledad was $2,000.
No, I'm not saying that this wasn't. I'm saying like for people that were around like 2013, because like I knew about competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I like Shonen Jump magazines and Beckett stuff, but I knew about full competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Around. I got fully seeped into it around Mermail format with Galactic Overlord. I knew about wind-up format. So I would say that my first inkling of it would be like wind-up format. Then Galactic Overlord, then Lord of Tachyon Galaxy. So 2012, late 2012, 2013 was when I fully knew about what competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Was.
I left this set. I left whatever set was in July, August of 2010. That's when I left.
When did you fully came back to competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Just what we're in now?
It was right after. It was right at when I fully actually came back, not like playing, casual. Like it was the ban list. It was whichever ban list was when or not Baylor. It was 2 weeks prior to the May 2018. Whichever Baylor's had Masterpiece band. Whichever Baylor's that was, it was right before that. Because
right before
I ended up
Masterpiece
building
that was the True King Danglong deck. That was that one.
Yeah, I ended up building True Draco. Played it for 3 weeks, loved it, and then they banned the card. I'm like, damn, that hurt. Because you know why? Because I didn't realize because when I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh, I was used to the ban list. The ban list used to come on my birthday, September 1st.
Yeah.
Every 6 months. I remember because I would always be like, "Oh, happy birthday! The ban list coming out." Because my birthday is September 1st. That's me. I always knew a ban list was coming on that day.
Yeah.
I always knew, and I didn't.
Are we about to ignore like tier 1 decks that existed that were cheap as hell? I mean, this is why you know me, man. I always harp on having good, cheap structure decks because it's affordable Yu-Gi-Oh! At a price. If you want to add extra money to it at your own price, you can. But at least this will get you in the door.
The main one I thought about was Monarch, but Monarch say you still had to put money into it. But they said that that was one of the few structure decks where you didn't need to put anything into it. If you bought
like the dinosaur one, you said ABCs. You had the Monarch one, like you said, the Salomon Great structure deck for sure.
Dinosaur. Oh, I'm trying to say, what the Monarch one was the only one.
The Pendulum Domination structure deck. That was easily I won't say tier 0, but that. Oh my god! Oh, people are so stupid. This is proves what not. I get it when someone wasn't around a time period you won't know, but to say things definitively, like and say with such confidence, like Yu-Gi-Oh's never been affordable. Just admit you weren't around those time periods and you don't know.
Like definitely when it got a little motherfucking like people that was
potentially.
People that was born like 2003, 2004 saying, "Oh, this is the most expensive format." You you wasn't there for Teledad for $300. Like Dark Arm Dragon.
People weren't around for other formats like the
I thought
Alliance format pretty expensive. I would say
I saw a Cap G video where he was talking about I remember working making $350 a week, right?
Mm-hmm.
And of course at that time I wasn't playing Yu-Gi-Oh as much, but I was like, I'm not playing Teledad, motherfucker. Nigga, this $300 for a card. That's my whole check. That's my whole I can't get no bitches on $50. The fuck? Then again, I can't get no bitches on $750. These bitches out here talking about you gotta take me here. Bitch, I'm not trying to take you nowhere but Buffalo Wild Wings to get my dick sucked. You talk about take you to get some lobster. Like, bitch, you gonna be if how Shannon Sharp said, if I'm taking you to a place to get steak and lobster, you know what comes with it? Condoms, because we fucking. It's like, bitch. These whole bitches out here talking about, but you got a jab that don't involve selling drugs. Don't.
Well, it's another thing where, good Lord, man. I get where people say that people do a lot more complaining about competitive card prices than like buying them. It's just, it's a huge divide of a big giant like onion that if you peel it all back, you're just like, where are we even getting at this point, you know?
Exactly.
Like I told people this before, you don't really have to play competitive Yu-Gi-Oh. That's the people that say they can't afford it, right? Like you don't really have to. But if you want to,
it's like
now if you want to, like everyone, there's not saying every format, but there'll be some formats where you can play other decks that are just as competitive as the other decks. Now this is the thing, people just don't want to. There are formats where you can play another deck and it can be just as fine.
Yeah, but the issue is eventually you're gonna get sick and tired of losing. And that's what it comes down to. You can play whatever deck you want, but if you want to win, you want to play a good deck.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes down to, I've always said this, make deck cores expensive, make it that one card always expensive, but make staples cheap. Motherfucker, there should be no reason why Prosperity costs $95. And think about some of these sets, and I remember College fucking said a good thing. Some of these sets are literally carried by one card. Think about every set that had a pot card in it. Started was Pot of Desires. That was the best card in that set, more or less. More or less of the times. Pot of Desires. It was like that was what, Dark Illusion. Tell me another good card from that set. Like besides the Dark Illusion.
Dark Illusion. Oh no, I'm pretty sure it was just Pot and Dark Illusion. Spiral Super Agent came in that set, but that was way later on. It had value to it. That was way later on. Yeah.
And then Savage Strike was Pot of Extract. Pot of Extract and Borolo Savage. That was it. There might be other cards, but it was. I remember when Pot of Extract came out. That motherfucker was $95 a copy, and you needed that motherfucker.
Yeah.
I was playing Dino.
I'm not saying affordable Yu-Gi-Oh is bad, but I'm saying like people gotta understand the way to get affordable Yu-Gi-Oh is if Konami either reprints the better cards in the set a little bit more, or the people that sell the cards to you lower the price of the cards.
And they're not gonna lower it because they want to get maximum value.
They have to make money to keep the lights on in the store and the bills and everything. So that's not happening. Yep. Konami's not going to reprint multiple cards and multiple rarities outside of like maybe the two potentially. That's rare if that you know.
But then think about it also. These Yu-Gi-Oh cards are so cheap in Japan. Do you think they're really making money over in Japan? If they're selling cards that fucking cheap?
Okay.
It's like with Pokemon. I don't know. Pokemon.
Depends on it just depends on the structure, you know, because we know if they're gonna get paid up front, right? So it would be like, do the stores make more money than Konami? Because Konami would already make their money in general by the structure of like because they're already doing distributors and whatever. But I feel like
think about it, because they're Japan and China, the import tax is not as high.
The currency is also a lot different too. I honestly don't know. I imagine it's not bad.
Plus, don't forget the sets are smaller. Plus, there's more rarities. Think about it. Think about this. Cascara Fenrir came in a rare, ultra, secret, and course, or some other. Like some of these cards come in like 4 rarities in the same set. Jeez.
It's one of those things. Like I do think that if you make things a little bit cheaper, you will get more people in. But this is the problem. And it's with a lot of fandoms, too. A lot of people don't understand this either, which is even if that is solved, something else is coming up. Another problem gets brought up. Because, you know, we just had the 25th Rarity Collection. We just had that. And people said, oh, things are going to be a lot more cheaper with this. Now everyone's saying, because people don't understand, metas change. The game changes. What is cheaper at this moment what is expensive at this moment is going to be cheaper down the road when they do reprints. Reprints for a lot of the cards in the meta game get printed. Well, the structure's a lot different now, but it used to be like the 10s and like the gold sets used to be that. Now it's like good reprints from the previous year will be like sprinkled into like sets like Maze of Millennia, another dedicated reprint set, or Battles of Legend, or the 10s. People understand. I don't get why people keep getting mad at stuff they know is going to consistently happen. All the pricey cards Bonfire is going to get reprinted later on this year potentially, or the beginning part of next year, maybe in the 10s. You don't think Konami won't reprint Bonfire in the 10s this year? You are out of your mind.
But then at that point, that is going to fit in no longer is going to be good because
that's how it always is. That's just how it's always been. You know,
and that's the issue.
Mm-hmm.
By the time
you want the card and it's cheap, that's not good anymore.
Yep. And now my point is, what's the point of playing Yu-Gi-Oh if Konami's gonna keep fucking you? What's the point? Like, if you know this company does not give a shit about you, they give a shit as a consumer, why do we still play the game? Like, and that's the thing. You can take that thing to me. I'm like, wait a second, and then because it goes a lot more than just the the card game. It goes a lot more than just the pricing. It goes. I'm looking at it from the pack ratings shit, the way they like do their structures here is not as good as they do in Japan. The pricing is just so much worse than other card games. It's like, in the way they hit cards, it's like Pokemon. I could have a deck good for. I could play a deck for 2 years if the deck's good enough. Like I know a guy who literally had. I know a guy who literally had Mew VMAX for 2 fucking years, and He had it since
Vagabond. Man, Magic stuff. Man, Magic.
I can't
Magic.
play Magic. I'm good.
No. The Magic structure where they're basically selling their stuff through the websites with basically trying to get rid of like stores. Whoo. That's not good. It's definitely not good. You definitely need stores to sell your product because they are the ones that bring in the fans to have them play at a store, but good Lord. I mean, yeah, motherfuckers out here crying on camera that they can't afford paper Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh, Lord.
I mean,
good God.
Now, I mean, that's understandable, but now apparently that same dude's having beef with another YouTuber or some shit. I'm gonna send you the video later if I can find it. I think he might have deleted it though. He might have. He might have deleted it because I know he deleted a video with a thing. And now that kid. Oh no, okay. And that guy was crying like a little bitch. I'm like, dude, stop acting like a little bitch, man. It's like you're not making yourself look any better by calling this guy this because of a song lyric you think it was. It was like, yeah, that's the video. I can't find the video he was talking about, but because he deleted it. But yeah, I was like, this is wild. And I'm just looking at him like, when it comes to Magic, I'll pass on Magic, but I think, yeah, I see this. Like I see that guy, I'm like, yo, dude, it's like that. It's like sometimes what you need is just log the fuck off. Just log off. Just log the fuck off. Just you know what I'm saying? Sometimes that's all people gotta do. Just log the fuck off.
That's what I've noticed recently too, is people just be spending way too much time on just social media, dude.
Yep.
Fucking cringe, dude. Like literally go outside and touch grass. Literally go outside. Walk outside for like 10 minutes. I don't care what you're doing. Get off the computer. Some of y'all are weird as fuck. Actual fucking losers, man. So fucking cringe for the most part, seeing what some of these guys are doing, Yeah. But yeah, man. Pretty sure a good show here. Nice toned down show. And give me 1 sec. Let me hit high on him. Let me ask you guys, you ready?
Yep.
I just said type to him, you read? And let me see if he's gonna show up. But yeah, man, I can't wait to go through some of these Yu-Gi-Oh videos by a lot of these people. Just a few of them, not too many of them. I think I'll do V's and Cali effects for the most part.
Yeah.
What's the other one? No, that's pretty much it. Those are the two I'll do. Just without cash pricing, this is kind of what people end up. I think these problems have been like exacerbated a whole lot more.
Yeah.
Recently compared to what it used to be, because these are always conversations people have. But then again, you know what happens, people? They constantly still play the game. They constantly somehow still get the cards and buy them and compete. That's the cool to bring up too. The game might be whatever you want it to be. Expensive, blah, blah, blah. People are still here playing and competing, still buying the cards, which is crazy because the only way for anything to really truly change like that is what?
Speak with your wallet.
Yeah, but people don't really ever do that. Then you're going to have content creators who are going to just be sucking off Konami and shit like that. It's like, that's just, yeah.
That's why I'm like, I'm at the point where I'm like, I'm good. I'm just leaving.
Just
nah, because it's like they got no incentive. They got no incentive to change.
Now that as a community, the community bitches about changing it, but no one has any incentive of changing it themselves. None. Not one person. I mean, I know people want to change it. I know it sounds great to say. But actions got to start speaking at some point. Yeah. Because people can say all they want. The cards are expensive and all this, start flapping their yaps. But we gotta, what we doing here? That's why I don't do this kind of conversation more. Obviously, not with you or like Rogue or V. But
yeah.
It's so cringe to these conversations after all these years because, like, first of all, most people like us know the stuff. I know what people are going to say out of their mouth when they're doing these videos. I've heard them 1,000 years. I've watched all of them for the most part. I just have to stop watching them because, like, this is the same shit we've talked about the previous year. And then people like to just use like one deck. So like whatever newest deck's expensive, they'll be like, Yu-Gi-Oh's expensive. we just do this last year? This feels like deja vu a little bit.
Yeah.
Too much just rehashing of the same stuff. But probably doing a video on it, giving my opinion on it at some point. But yeah, man. Anything else you want to say before we head out?
Like when I told people I was leaving, I was like, nah, I'm not dealing with it. Like I got none against people that play Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I still love the game, but I can't actually be playing a game where these motherfuckers they don't care. They honestly do not care. It's like every time I'm playing a game, it's like somebody's complaining about this. Like I don't want to be the guy in my Yu-Gi-Oh! My Pokemon logos being the guy talking about Pokemon. That's why I don't even bring up like Yu-Gi-Oh! Anymore, more or less. Like I just try to leave it like behind. I'm like, I tell people if you still love the game, you still love like Yu-Gi-Oh! Go ahead and play. But you can't be at the same time complaining about anything when you are actively like buying these cards. Like, you know. And that's what I'm saying. Like you can't actively be saying I love Yu-Gi-Oh, but then turn around and are like, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. You can't actually love playing Yu-Gi-Oh, but then be acting like Konami's not doing anything wrong. Because some of these guys be acting like, oh, Konami's not doing anything wrong. I'm like, have you been living on a fucking rock? Like Konami been fucking us for years. It's like if you're cool with it, okay, that's more power to you for fucking with them. But I'm not fucking with them. Like I've been done fucking with Konami in that sense. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm saying. Like if you're cool as Konami,
If people are cool with Konami butt fucking them repeatedly year after year and then saying the same stuff year after year, the same conversations, the same topics, I'm done. What's the point? People know the issue, don't solve the issue, and then complain about the issue year round.
Like my main thing is you can play casually. Just like if you want to, if you still have the love for Yu-Gi-Oh, just play casually. Just play casually.
Yeah.
Like only invest in cards that work for your deck. Like
or you could have the prospect of playing one deck and just upgrading it here and there, despite it might getting hit on the ban list. That would save you money. Might be competitive.
Pretty much what you do, you just stick with one deck until that deck is no longer competitive viable. And when I mean competitive viable, I don't mean just competitive in the meta. I'm talking about like that deck can no longer run because all the cards for it got hit.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. If you're willing to do that, go right ahead.
All right, everyone. Let's head out of here. And all right, so you should start seeing the Iron Man podcast episodes very, very soon. Like I said before, I'm going to upload this episode to you guys, and then the other Cloud9 podcast episodes are going to be on just a little bit of the hiatus because I need to get all the Iron Man podcast episodes up to you guys, and then when I get those up to you guys, then I can put out episode 5 of season 10 of this show, and then so on and so forth to simultaneously come out at the same time as the Iron Man podcast episodes that we're going to do new. So, but we will see you guys here next week, Sunday, for the next episode of the Cloud9 podcast. And the days of the Cloud9 podcast are going to be Sunday and Thursday moving forward now. And that's going to be our set days for the foreseeable future, unless anything changes. So, see you guys later. Have a great